Yo everybody, my name is Mofalk and today I want to share 5 tips that help me get my Serum sound design to the next level. Now this video is not a tutorial on making a specific sound. This is more tools and tips that will help you when you're creating your own sounds or tweaking presets to your liking. Now these tips are in no particular order, but let's start with the most simple one, pitch wobbles. You can add a pitch wobble to absolutely any sound you're making to take it up just a little bit, make it a little bit more retro, give it more character, more flair in general. Now the way to do this in Serum is to hook up any LFO to the fine pitch of any oscillator. Now that's not very desirable. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna increase the rate to 16 and then drag down on this little knob here to bring down the effect of it. So as I do this you can hear. Now that's already it. One thing you need to be careful with is that the area that is covered and uncovered by the LFO is the same. Because if it's not, you will either go above or under the desired pitch. And if the area is the same, your wobble will be sort of constant in that one pitch that you want to achieve. All right, number 2, use the note thing. What is it called? Note. Use the note parameter much more than you're already doing it. For example, using it as a cutoff like this. Now, the note parameter is so useful and you can use it for so many different things. This was just one application where I like to use it. When you're using it, there's really only one thing you need to worry about, and that is that you're leaving the amount at 100. So instead of like doing this thing, leave it at 100. And if you need to change where it is, either change this, or as long as this slope is exactly 45 degrees, it still works. So you could, for example, do this and it would still work. Or, for example, you could also put it further up like that. As long as this slope is 45, you should be fine. Alright, we're on to number 3, and that is using the chorus a little bit more creatively. This is just the sound we had before, very basic patch. What I really like to do is turn the rate all the way up, turn both delays all the way up, turn the feed pretty high up, low pass filter all the way up, and then mix all the way up. Now, this will sound terrible. Yeah, I know. But then, you bring the delay back a bit, you bring the feed back a bit, you bring the depth back a bit, and all of a sudden, you're getting some cool stuff. You can use that, for example, with more feed, as a little bit of a, almost like a metal reverb, and then just mix that in with your mix. So I mostly use the chorus to just beef up my sounds a little bit more, because it's so helpful to just add a little bit more noise, a little bit more pitch weirdness left right going on. And most of the time when I started out, I was unaware of the chorus. I just ignored it. I was like, this is weird, I don't want to use it. But now that I do, it's opened so many doors for me in terms of sound design, and I would highly recommend you try to incorporate it more in your sound design. Now, tip number 4, again, has to do with beefing up your sound, making it a little bit more thick, and that is to do with hyper. Now, what hyper does is it takes the audio that comes into it, splits it up into multiple voices, and then detunes them. Sort of like a chorus, but better. And you can use this to make your sounds more stereo. While it does retain a little bit of the texture, it usually washes out your sound, so be careful if you're like looking for really clean transients. But that just for pads and for chords and for, it's just so good if it just adds a little bit more stereo there. Let me show you. So in our case here, with this weird preset, basically just in it, we drop down octaves a bit to get more of a bassy sound. And then we increase the hyper here. Let me actually take it down first. You can see it doesn't really sound that good. But if we increase the rate a bit, if we increase the detune a bit, you get almost like a hyper saw. Well, that's why probably it's called hyper or super saw. And that is with just one voice. If we add 16 voices to this, absolute wash, right? Sometimes you want that, most of the time you probably don't. But even on one, like, very, very helpful. Usually what I do, I leave it like this and I just give it maybe like 30%. gives it a little bit of width. It's really cool. Takes a very basic mono sound to just, you know, it makes it a bit better. It's really good. All right, and the last tip, number 5, is to use the effects flanger and phaser on a rate of 0. Let me show you how cool that can be. So I'm gonna leave a little bit of that hyper on. Still the same sound. But now, normal phaser does what you would expect it to do. So, let's take the rate down to 0. Now we just get a weird resonance, and we can play with that frequency. The advantage of this is the phaser isn't moving. You're just getting a phaser sound, but the phaser is precise. You can put it wherever you want to put it. So cool. You can even automate it with an envelope, like this. And the same thing also you can do with the flanger. Same principle, just a little bit of a different sound. Right, and you get that nice texture from this. Now it doesn't even have to be much, but you can tell how from this sound to this sound, there's just a little bit more character. And that character is exactly what you're going for if you're trying to level up your sound design from good to really good, or even if you're just starting out. Like, that's what you're looking for, that little bit of spark that nobody really notices. But when you're putting it in, it's like, all right. All right, everybody, that was it for the video already. Thank you very much for watching. And if you enjoyed, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe. And if you really want to learn something, maybe pop into my Twitch streams. I stream Wednesday, Friday, Sunday at 6 p.m. CET. There I actually do production. The other day we did a 12-hour stream where we produced the track from 0 to 100 all in one stream. It was really sick. Maybe don't miss that either. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next video.